Zoning meeting to order. First item roll call. Got Michael King.
Here.
Sid Sutherland. Here. Warren got here. And Clinton's not here. Kevin's not here, so we will seat Lauren or Stephen.
I think Lauren is a regular member.
No,
No,
he
okay.
wasn't sworn.
I apologize. None of my
We had
business.
to get a clarification.
Yeah.
on that. She's so close.
Okay.
But so far.
All right. And our first, are there any public communications?
Not from
Nobody? Nobody? All right,
If anybody online wants to
Oh,
speak to the
great.
commission, you do need to raise your hand.
that's right. Did they hear that? If anyone's online, wants to speak to the commission, you have to raise your hand so we can be noticed.
Nope.
All quiet.
Okay.
Okay, and first item we have down here is site plans.
Right, so as noted in your packet, when you approved the multifamily development on 1002 Route 12, you did not approve a waiver of the requirement to have a landscape architect design the landscaping plan. But you did require that one review the landscaping plan and provide any kind of comments. And so that's in your packet. Eric Goodman is here. He is the applicant, developer of the project. I have plans that I can lay out that the landscape architect provided, and you all, I believe, have the schedule of proposed changes. Just kind of run through real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not a landscape architect, so I don't know that I can really tell you more than what she wrote in the letter. I
You
can,
can tell us the physical end result. Like how changed, but first I need your
Sure.
name and address.
Eric Goodman, 9 Roland Street. So basically, sorry, I'm trying to do this on mine. Let's see.
Do you want a paper copy?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Think so. She changed out the plants on the back of the phase 1 building, as noted on page 4 of her letter. Just to provide some more screening around the balconies of the decks. She also changed out the plants on the south side because the deck's a little higher there. So she recommended a different species to come up and cover the balcony more. And then some changes too on the west. It looks like juniper plants too. And then she added some screening around the utility box that was, I think, above and beyond, but it's fine. It'll be nice because it'll screen that area. And then changed out some screening on the storm basins. And that was about it, except for some recommendations on the sugar maple variety. Because I guess they're having issues now where our winters aren't cold enough to sustain sugar maple, which is surprising today. But anyway, so she made some changes there. And then on the phase 2 piece, she basically, the majority of the modifications there were to that screening on the north side of the phase 2 building. So instead of just being a row of, I think the green giants like they were, she spaced in like 3 plants together to kind of break it up a bit. And that's all outlined in the letter. And then she issued 2 changes to the schedule of plants that Ed's going to change on his plan before the Mylars get filed.
Right.
That's kind of what I got.
Right, and so, if you are comfortable with this change in species, that's exactly what we will do before the plans are filed in land records. We will have these changes made to the landscape plan.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions. I wasn't, the sugar maple was kind of interesting. I didn't even realize that was happening and that that's great. And
Yeah,
I'm not by any means an expert at this stuff.
No, neither am I.
It seemed like she was very careful, but I'm comfortable with it so long as everyone else here is comfortable with it.
Yeah, Ed's done all the landscape plans for like the Norton and the Standard and everything in the past, but he's not a landscape architect. Those properties, we didn't really have a lot of landscape. This is a little different. So I actually thought it was a good exercise. And she's good. She's on the on the board of directors for the American Society of Landscape Architects. So this was.
Can I back up for a second?
Sure.
I recuse myself from this
Oh,
application.
that's absolutely
Richard.
right. You should not be
So I
talking.
should probably,
That's true.
if I apologize.
That's-
That's fine.
I apologize.
We can talk
but I
about
don't
plans
wanna-
all night.
I know I
I'm
want to
not-
be consistent. and
I
I'm
don't have a
sorry
problem,
that
so
happened.
don't worry
It was
about it.
My mistake.
But I thought the sugar maple thing was interesting because
Yeah.
apparently they're like receding back into Vermont because it's getting less warm down here.
Yeah.
So they're using different varieties, but this wasn't the worst of Ed's plans I've ever seen. Some have included invasive species and other things. So this one wasn't that bad, but she made the changes, so I'm okay with it.
I thought she did a really nice job, actually had some good suggestions, how to change the plants and actually, if I may, opine on sugar maples, are my favorite trees. They do grow in North Stonington and Griswold and all, and they're doing extremely well. They're enormous, some of them, but they need, I think she brought up the fact you need a new species. It doesn't need much moisture.
Yep.
Because the old regular purebred one required a lot of moisture, and they also like certain, bedrock more than we have. They don't like the granite as much here apparently, but some of them still you see even in Ledger, some of the farms there have sugar maples from the past, just for what it's worth. But I thought that's just illustrative of the care that was taken to make sure. it's a
Yeah.
Good plant. And I like the idea she got some variety into big heads and all that good stuff. The plant choice is really good. That's all I have.
Okay. I think I'm okay with it too. That sugar maple really surprised me. 1/3 of the street trees in my neighborhood, 1/3 are sugar maple. You know, sugar maple, Norway maple, and red maple. And, and
There, that's.
I don't think it's moisture. I think it's the cold. I think because we're getting wetter. But,
Yeah.
But I did like the idea that the very limited planning that you do on the north side, which is one of my biggest problems of the phase two. Can't do much, but we were already promised by the civil engineer that he'd try to mound it more, and now we've got some variance in the size.
Yeah.
One of those gets 20 feet tall, I think. So I think we're,
It'll be a little better. I unfortunately couldn't zoom in, so I was like trying to listen to you on the phone. I don't know if
Okay.
you heard me chime in at the end, but we'll try to mound it and like bring a swale down
right.
as best as possible. But I think breaking it up too is gonna not create that like line of trees that doesn't always look
That
that
was
good.
good. But it's such a high wall. It's also on the north side of the building, so the growth pattern is gonna be a lot slower than you
Right.
normally get. All these things like a lot of sun. I'm pretty sure they'll still live okay, but it's gonna take a long time to get there. Do we have a motion? to
I do,
pass, or-
yeah, we didn't send it out ahead of time. It's pretty basic.
Have you read this?
Hmm?
Motion?
No, actually, it hasn't. It's basically just saying they approve it and we're gonna substitute it
All
before
right, so I'll make a
putting in
motion.
land records.
Do you want a copy?
No, I'm good. No,
I'm going to read it so you can weigh in. if you
There you
hate.
go.
sure.
Can I make a motion to approve modifications to the landscape plan for SIT 240017 multifamily residential development 1002 Route 12 as prepared by Barbara Yeager, professional landscape architect. The modifications will be incorporated into the previously approved site plan prior to recording the plan in land records. Got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No? Say, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstain, one abstention? Oh, no, you're.
No.
You're recused. And so it passes.
Thanks. Can I give you an opinion on something that got brought up on the project? Just, I think Deb and I talked about it briefly, but Lauren, I think you said the building was soulless, and I kind of agree with you. So my only comment is, as you're working through the regulations, and I agree that a lot's going to get developed over there, especially for the need around the subbase. We're even looking at other parcels right now. And the subbase is already trying to rent our units that aren't even started. So I would just consider that, I don't know what the maximum height in that CN zone is, 35 or 40, but if you think about maybe allowing a fourth floor, but requiring the fourth floor to be in like a mansard or some sort of dormer thing or something, you're not going to get that box building. Because I will tell you, the one problem right now is that costs of construction have gone up and haven't come back down as much since COVID. They've come down, but they haven't come down a ton. So you're battling a debt coverage ratio with the banks that you have to make a box. Otherwise, it's really difficult. So if you can get a few more units out of the space or potentially get some more height out of it, but do it in a creative way, you're not going to get that box building.
If we had the extra height, but it was only like 6 feet, so I couldn't get a whole floor, would that still help?
I think you'd need the
You need
fourth
the whole floor.
Yeah, but I think you could figure a way to do it where you could hide it in a roof line, because you could still do. You could do the fourth floor, but make the fourth floor not look like a fourth floor. So like prohibit someone from doing a fourth floor and make it a box. But
Right.
if you allow them to like incorporate it somehow and get those extra units, they're going to get some more money on the P&L, which is inevitably going to allow them to build it out a little. But
We have a unique problem there is that would be one that we want to talk over with the Navy, because giving those buildings more height gives them a better
better
sight
view.
line
Yeah,
with a rifle. And that's just kind of the way they have to think.
yeah.
So they tend not to say anything because they say, what's in town is in town. But if we have anybody wise over there, that might actually be an issue. I used to be on that side.
But if is it 40 or 35 in the site? So if it's 40, you could do 4 stories.
Yeah, it's
Um,
3 stories / 40 feet. is what
Right.
the-
Right.
So you could do 10-foot floors, but you could do like basically the standard from the first floor up, which is exactly 40 feet. You could do that and just get rid of the parking on the bottom or make them do it differently. But on a different site, it might allow a little more like detail to be put into the buildings than what you're gonna get.
Mm.
So.
And I
just,
I appreciate that. I didn't mean to come off as rude. It's
No.
a general comment that I
kind of laughed. I
Yeah.
kind of agreed with you. So.
but I mean I think that there's ways to keep the box look, because I understand the necessity out of ROI and all that. But still make the facade have movement, right? And
Yeah,
and character, right?
it's just a little tough too, because you have that 20-foot or 40-foot, I forgot what it is, but with the staggering. So you
Mhm,
inevitably
right.
end up with
Yep,
this
yep.
just staggered box building.
Mm.
So
In this
I'm not
case, the
telling you
dimen-
how to do it. I just, there's gotta be
the
a way
dimensions
to.
of that site were very restrictive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If the site was 10 foot wider, you could have done better staggering and whatnot, and it would have been easier to do and better landscaping. There just was no room to
Yeah.
do it. So,
Mm.
the problem I will say though is the good sites are gone. The
Mhm.
mediocre ones are barely left. And now you're getting into stuff like that and it's just gonna get worse.
yeah.
Some sites were going 30 years ago.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. So Deb, on that just quickly, I keep coming back to the city's rezone.
Mhm.
And so I guess, have we identified areas within the town limits, specifically thinking about what they're doing over at Bridge, where they're allowing extra floors to be built into, I won't say into the ground, but because of the hill structure, you're able to have more floors technically without, over.
Right.
Yeah.
We have not, it's certainly a topic for the POCD, and I would imagine a good deal of zone changes will come out of that.
Yeah, I just imagine that would be, something that would
Yep.
kind of bridge the concern
Yep.
he's speaking of.
And, okay, not on the agenda, but
Mm.
we're gonna talk about this probably in March, but you need to look at not just where his CN is, it's like where all the CNs
Mhm,
are.
yeah.
So
Right.
we'll take a
Yes.
look at that, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
'Cause some of them do bump up against, single or duplex neighborhoods.
Right.
So anyway,
Thank you.
Oh, that was what we had spoken of.
and we're gonna do that
Oh,
in
good.
March.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good. At least
Yeah.
it's on the
Yeah,
radar.
yep.
All right, we got 2 new applications, Little Gulf phasing.
Yeah, they just need to get a phasing plan approved. We can't do it administratively.
Okay.
You'll see that next time, I think.
And we have the town of Stonington referable about the cannabis.
Yep, they're adding a couple of different types of cannabis uses, sorry, in their commercial and industrial zones.
Anybody comments on that? Oh, no.
It's their
It looked
town.
like they got to more detail than we did, but I
Yep.
Yep.
didn't see the need.
Right.
Exactly.
Not, I don't think it affects us anymore than.
Right.
Not at all. And the same thing with town of Stonington referral about the Mystic Seaport Museum master plan / site plan.
Right, very minor changes with
Mm.
regards to ADA ramps, dumpsters, temporary boat storage tents.
I can't imagine having anything to do with this. So that had to do with the new Ross seed.
Exactly. Yep.
Which I'm
Yep.
very anxious to see. And now we have election of chair, missing some people.
Move to table that for a different meeting.
Agreement on that? You want to table that?
Yes, yeah, I was
Just
thinking
to
about
be
that.
fair.
one.
Gonna do that? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Cool.
and Steve is here. Yeah, I mean, we should probably have a full house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not a seated member yet, so I think Jeff still has his seat until filled.
I'm not sure that he does.
He
but-
serves
but
until
anyway.
filled. But yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that's-
and I have to swear in to take my full seat.
Okay, so we'll postpone that till next meeting,
It's only a couple of weeks.
and it'll just be just for that position because it's on still the place. Then I have no report for chairs next. Anybody else have a report? Commission? We go for the record here, report of staff.
wow. So, yeah, a couple of things. So one was, we're gonna talk about the CN zone at one of the March meetings, depending on how heavy the agendas are. And I'm thinking I'm also going to add the uses in the MTC, the downtown, where we're seeing car washes and oil
Yep.
change places. And is
Yeah.
that really what we want to see in a downtown area? So we'll take a look at both the uses that are allowed in those zones as well as the conditions associated with those uses, because maybe it's not the use, maybe it's the conditions. So we'll take a look at all of that.
What conditions are you?
Well, for example, there's like a car wash has a number of conditions, so
Oh.
maybe,
Yeah.
the conditions need to be bumped up
Yeah.
and, bigger buffers or something.
Yeah, I think
don't
it's,
know.
I mean, I know that we're not, but I think it's critical that we because when you have something like that, it's changing, hopefully it's gonna change in a positive way, but I think initially what happens first sort of sets us off in a direction, and it's important that we make sure that we're going in the direction that we want to be
Yep.
going in. I think.
I think as long as you're gonna be addressing it, also might want to take the zone and identify more what's the through road, Route 1, and what's the rest of the zone.
Yep,
And
we'll
those
take
two
a look
things
at
are
it.
different things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder about that because it is like this, it's supposed to be this neighborhood transitional zone, right? But like when you get down to Dunkin' Donuts, there's no neighborhoods
Yep.
there anymore. We're not
Right.
trying to
Yeah,
do that. In fact, I think that
It's
we're
a through
trying
road,
to
yeah.
encourage. I mean, that's that intersection is,
Okay, let's do this in March.
okay,
Okay.
good. Well, I'm excited.
Okay, yeah,
Well, what about-
absolutely.
About the industrial zone. You think that might be in-
I think you will see that at the next meeting,
Oh, okay.
just another look at it before there's any kind of application.
Right, okay.
Mhm.
And then at the next meeting, I'll also have, you had asked for housing units that had been approved since, I think you said 2020.
Oh,
But
yeah,
we did that work actually for the last community conversation, so I'll have that
oh, good.
finished.
Yeah, no,
for
it's
you
just a,
Back to 2018.
I think that
actually.
we've, boy, I'll tell you what, when you drive over the bridge and you see that brightness, it is impressive thing. I mean, I still have, I think that it's kind of close to the highway, but it, boy, does get your attention.
Yep.
And,
So what would be interesting is if we could also, I don't know how easy this would be to add to the data you've already collected for the community conversation, but could we get some data on which districts in town have received those new apartments since 2018?
When you say district, what are you talking about? Zoning
So-
district?
I'm talking about the political district.
Oh,
okay.
we can just overlay that on a map.
Yeah,
that's.
because what you'll find is that probably way more than 50%, if not closer to 80%, have been cited in District 4.
So, okay, you'll see it next time, but it's not,
That-
this is not just multi-units. I mean,
Yes.
it's all housing.
All
We've
housing.
got single family
Right.
duplexes as well as ADUs. So you'll see
Yeah.
the range of housing that has been
Mhm.
approved.
Have we heard anything about the new one on Drosnick that was supposed to be going up?
So I think we will see another modification of that. There is another developer who is interested, who's doing due diligence at this point.
Good.
And there were a few that we did that I just wonder if so the one next to Applebee's
Mhm.
and the hotel from across from Walmart,
Mhm.
that conversion there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there was some problem with their fund.
So there are two across from Walmart.
Yeah.
The Groton Motor Inn, that
Okay.
one's complete. The
Yeah.
other one, which was the former Days Inn, is still under construction.
Yeah.
District 4.
Well, it's because of where it is.
Mhm. What District 4 lacks though is a playground. Town owned. Just throw that out there.
What are the extents of District 4?
District 4 starts north of the 95 bridge and the
So,
Amtrak Railroad Bridge.
okay,
So
right.
from the city limit,
Up to the base?
up to the base through to the border with
Yeah. And
Gales
how
Ferry.
far east?
It would go, well, it's right behind us. I think not so, gosh, where am I? That's the Navy, that's the Navy. So all West Pleasant Valley over into center Groton. Right about, it goes partly down
Like
Corey.
Gunja where
Well,
Gunja?
it-
Yeah,
Yeah, it goes
Gunji,
to-
it includes Gunji Womp,
To the reservoir, I think.
kind of to the reservoir, right?
Okay, all right.
And
Just
then,
an area.
no,
right?
it's fine.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, just a reminder, the CIP meeting, 6
Right.
o'clock on the 20th, we'll have very light food
Yeah,
to,
okay,
you know,
good.
get us through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. Got the ASP report. Follows with that. Not for me. Applications received.
Right, that's just where we are tracking.
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
The move.
Second.
Okay, that was quick and easy.
That's right.
Right,
Great
thank
job.
you.
Looks like you were expecting that, Deb.